Have you ever thought about what it means for a religion to be perfected? It's a huge, powerful idea, right? You find it in some of the most important texts in the world. But here's a thought. What if our common understanding of that word is completely off? Let's dig in and go right back to the source to figure this out.
Okay, here it is. This is the verse from the Quran that really sets the stage. Today I have perfected your religion for you. I mean, that sounds pretty final, doesn't it? But as we're about to see, everything, and I mean everything, hangs on what that one word, perfected, actually means.
So that's the big question, isn't it? When we hear perfection, what are we really talking about? Does it mean wiping the slate clean and creating something brand new, totally from scratch? Or is it something else? Maybe it's the final chapter of a story that's been going on for a very, very long time.
All right, to start cracking this open, our first clues are actually hidden in the language itself, in the original Arabic. And believe me, you'll be amazed at how two tiny little words can shift the entire meaning of this.
So the key Arabic word here for perfected is akmaltu, which comes from the root ikmal. Now, this is super important. Ikmal doesn't mean to create out of nothing. It means to complete, or to bring to fullness. Think about it like this. You're building a magnificent cathedral. Ikmal isn't digging the foundation or even raising the walls. No, it's placing that final, perfect capstone that completes the whole structure.
Now our next clue is even smaller. I mean, it's just 2 letters. It's the word al, which is basically the Arabic equivalent of the in English. Here's why that matters. When the Quran says as-salah, the prayer, it's not introducing some brand new concept. The implies that its audience already knew exactly what it was talking about. It was a pre-existing, well-known practice.
Okay, so the language itself is pointing us toward existing traditions. But does the Quran back this up in other ways? Oh, absolutely. And the evidence it presents is honestly fascinating.
Just listen to this. This is a prayer from Abraham. We're talking centuries upon centuries before the Quran was revealed. He says, "Our Lord, I have settled some of my descendants in an uncultivated valley by your sacred house, that they may establish prayer." Did you catch that? A sacred house and the act of prayer. These cornerstones of the faith weren't new inventions in the 7th century. They were already ancient institutions.
And let's clear something up about that uncultivated valley. It wasn't just some empty, random spot in the desert. No way. The Quran is telling us this was the location of the sacred house, a major religious hub. So Abraham wasn't just wandering into the wilderness. He was going to the very heart of spiritual life at the time. So let's just recap what was already on the ground, so to speak, before the 7th century. A sacred house, the Kaaba? Yep, it was there. Formal prayer, Salah? Already established. What about pilgrimage, the Hajj, and the idea of charity? Check and check. They were all part of the spiritual landscape. The message wasn't about creating these things from scratch, it was about restoring and perfecting them. And this idea goes way beyond just a few practices. It's really about a much bigger concept. This vision of a single, continuous divine message delivered by a long, unbroken chain of messengers throughout history. You know, a lot of people think of religions as separate things, like new software that comes out and just replaces the old version. But the framework the Quran presents is completely different. It's more like one single core operating system that gets crucial updates and patches over time, all leading to a final, complete, and universal version.
And the Quran says this directly. Check this out. He has ordained for you of religion what he enjoined upon Noah, and what we enjoined upon Abraham and Moses and Jesus. It's explicitly linking them all together. This isn't a break from the past. It's the very culmination of it.
And it doesn't stop there. After listing 18 previous prophets, God's instruction to Muhammad isn't, okay, scrap all that and start over. Not at all. It's the opposite. It's those are the ones whom Allah has guided. So from their guidance, take an example. It's a model of continuity, not of replacement. Build on what they taught.
Okay, so we've looked at the language, we've looked at the history within the text, and we've looked at the whole theological framework. So with all that in mind, let's circle back to our big question. What does perfection truly mean here? Let's put all the pieces together.
You see, perfection here isn't a single static event. It's a dynamic process. First, it builds on the solid foundation of all the past revelations. Second, it corrects any distortions or human-made additions that crept in over time. Third, it addresses the evolving social needs of humanity. And finally, it seals the message in its final, comprehensive, and protected form for all time.
So, in the end, the perfection of religion wasn't about starting from page 1 with a new book. Not at all. It was about writing the final, complete chapter of a timeless story that had been told by messenger after messenger, a story humanity had been part of for ages.
And this really leaves us with a powerful question to think about. If we start seeing faith not as a series of sudden, competing events, but as one continuous story, how does that change our perspective? How does it change the way we see each other, our religions, and our shared human history? Something to really chew on. Thanks for joining me.